Sure. Again, thanks for coming out and joining us. Happy game week. That's Dustin's notes for me. I know our guys are looking forward to competing against players other than themselves this weekend. I love this time of year because for me as a coach, as I've said, it's where we get to figure out and find out just what type of team we have going into this year and kind of how all the hard work that they put in from when we return back here from winter break till now, just to see how all the hard work we put in comes into fruition. Looking back, we had a really strong camp and we were able to stay healthy, which is one of the top things leaving out of camp for us, because we've created some depth via recruiting as well as the development of some of the younger players in our program. And to be able to come out of camp as healthy as we were going in is a testament to our strength and conditioning staff, our training room, and even our sports science group that has really played a major role in helping us keep our guys healthy, as well as telling me, how we need to practice to make sure our players are at peak performance or peak performance form. There's no doubt we have the talent, but now we have to go out and execute, and that to me is the important thing. Anytime you go into a week one opportunity like Buffalo, as I told our team, you don't have a lot of information on your opponent, and so it leads back to what we've talked about here with you guys before, that it's going to be about what we do and not necessarily about what they do. And I think that's important for us to keep that mindset, because in every opportunity that we're given, and we're taking them one at a time, I still believe for us to be the type of team that we want to be, it's going to be all about what we do more than what the opponents do, and we'll continue to do that. When you look at Buffalo in a totality, number one, their coach, I got a lot of respect for Maurice Linquist. Here's a guy that got hired the end of May a year ago and had 12 weeks to get his team prepared to play, and they finished 4-8, which I know for him is not their standard, but to see how he was able in a short period of time to put together a roster, especially with some of the attrition they had, it's a testament that those guys bought in. He's doing a tremendous job. If you look at their roster now, and I know they're too deep, came out yesterday. He's used the transfer portal quite a bit to build his program in a short period of time. I think they've got 7 starters on the offensive side of the ball that are transfer portal guys from major Power 5 institutions. And when you look at their age in school, they're graduates, they're seniors, so he's been able to recruit some experienced players that have come in, and to me, that when you play with experienced players that come from good programs, they got guys from Louisville, Arizona, Florida. These guys have been around big time programs, and so I expect that they'll come in and we'll get their best. They got a couple local players. I know the Patterson kid that plays linebacker, whose brother also is over there with the Washington Commanders, has been a starter over there for a long time, and he plays big time football. They got a running back from St. John's that is playing well for them, and they've got a quarterback, obviously, that they named the starter that is very familiar with us, having transferred in from Rutgers. Though we do expect to see the other quarterback as well as we prepare. The things we've got to do going into week one, and when I talk about us taking care of the things we can control, it's on both sides of the ball. On defense, we have to limit the big plays and then create turnovers, and then on the offensive side of the ball, we have to manufacture or create big plays and then take great care of the football. And if we can do those two things in game one, that'll give us a great foundation to build upon as we move through our season. So our captains for this week, Ami Finau, Chad Ryland, and Spencer Anderson, which we expect those 3 to do a great job of representing us and leading us as we enter into the shell here on September 3rd. So with that, I'll open up for any questions.
You guys can raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. Start to your right with Dave Preston.
Mike, in practice this month, what have you been really excited about seeing the guys on the practice field? What has really given you confidence, and how do you expect that to translate to this Saturday?
Probably the biggest thing is as always, one of the things I learned working under Coach Saban is that, if you can't hit the curveball, you're going to see the curveball. And so one of the things that we do well or have done well in the past is in the passing game on the offensive side of the ball. So what we've worked on tremendously over the off season and during spring ball and into fall camp is being able to try to establish the run. That's going to be really, really important for us. If you want to win in the Big Ten, you have to be able to run the football. And we've got an experienced group, as I've said before. The most improved unit on our team is our offensive line. You know, with Corey Dyches' development along with C.J. Dupree, we feel we've got two tight ends that will allow us to line up, balance people up, and I like our young running backs and the power that they run, as well as the different skill sets they all bring. So I like the way we ran the ball during training camp, and then on the defensive side of the ball, was really, really encouraged by how we tackled. You know, one of the things when you talk about limiting big plays, the two areas you do that most in is tackling, you know, limiting your missed tackles, and then also missed assignments, because that's where the big plays come into play. And so our defense has done a tremendous job of getting the ball on the ground throughout the scrimmage situations we've had, and I like the way we tackle in space. Those two things jump out for me coming out of training camp.
Go to Noah, second round.
Hey, Coach.
What's up, man?
Roman Hemby was named starting running back for week 1. What have you seen from him throughout training camp heading into week 1?
You know, he's Mr. Consistency. He's a guy that we can count on in the protection game. You know, it's really important. All these guys are great with the ball in their hand. And you're going to see 3-4 running backs play for us throughout the year. And, you know, obviously if one gets the hot hand, we'll continue to ride him as he continues to deliver and be productive. But the thing that jumps out most about Roman is his ability to play without the football, the passing game, the protection of our quarterback when we need to have that done, and just the consistency in which he's executed. That's not to say that a guy like Kobe McDonald, Antoine Littleton, they'll play and have great roles within it. And then the freshman Ramon Brown, as we continue to develop him, I can see him playing a major role in how things play out for us this season. But I expect all four to play and be productive. But Roman, going into the first start for us, is the guy that we have the most confidence in from a consistency in playing without the football.
Fourth row center, G.
Mike, you mentioned focusing more on what you do as opposed to what your opponent does. The experience you have back on the offensive line, how much does it kind of dictate that over the line of scrimmage and kind of give a boost to the rest of the offense?
Well, again, I think being able to run the football is paramount to us because you want to have, when I talk about balance on offense, too many times people think balance is being able to run it 50% of the time and pass it, but it actually is being able to do both well. And, you know, if you look at how we played the last couple of games of the year, where we had success when we needed to, we had a big running attack, a big rushing attack against Rutgers, and then in the bowl game rushing for over 200 yards. And so as this O-line continues to develop, I want to continue to hang my hat on it. They're the veteran group. They're a group that's has been through a lot, but also has continued to get better and better with each year. And so to establish the run is something that we want to do going into the year, and have it complement what we already know is a productive passing game.
On your left shot.
Hey there, Coach. I don't know if this is working, but I know you expect a lot from the, what have you seen from Ben Camp that impresses you most about these players?
I just think it's his consistency. You know, and I've known Leah since 10th grade, before he moved from Hawaii to Birmingham. Typically a very emotional player. I mean, he wears his emotions on his sleeve, and you can see it with his body language. What I've seen out of him now is him mature into that quarterback that, as we continue to talk about finding neutral and getting to that even keel where big plays are routine and bad plays, those are over, moving on quicker. I see him maturing to the point where he's moving through the bad things that happen quicker than he has maybe in the past, which is going to be important. You know, that position he plays, he has the ball every single play, so there will be bad things, adversity happen, and for us, it's how quickly he's able to get past that, and that's for all of us as a team in general, how we handle adversity. And I've seen Leah take the next step from an emotional maturity standpoint to where he gets it, he's got the mind of a coach, and he plays like a player, so that's what I'm excited about.
Second row, Varun, then Ryan.
Hey, Coach. Ruben Hippolyte's now an established starter. Where have you seen his growth from last year in camp?
Probably most of Ruben's growth has been more how he has a positive effect on his teammates. Ruben typically is a very quiet guy that goes about his business, and he led by how he practiced and his effort and everything he did. He's a guy that from the day he walked on campus mid-year just jumped out because of the type of work ethic he has. Well, now I see him becoming a little more vocal, or a lot more vocal, where he's leading across the board, not just the defensive players, but our offensive players. So I'm starting to see him become more of a vocal leader that has more of a positive impact, not just on the defense, but our entire team.
How did you see that specifically with the two newcomers at linebacker, Jay Sean and Darius?
You know, I think both those guys, obviously with Van Darius and his familiarity with our defensive system and scheme, a veteran presence there, and then, you know, with a guy like Jay Sean Barham, I mean, he has a lot of some of the Ruben characteristics we saw coming in. Quiet guy, picked up things easy. He has a body made ready. You know, one of those guys that walks in the door and looks like he should have been here already. And we're excited to kind of see how he plays, and that's what the, you know, great about having an opening game is we get to see kind of what he is and what he can help do to help our team.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach. Could you go into a little detail what CJ Dupree has done in camp and more scrimmages that made him stand out and to be listed as a starter for Saturday?
You know, CJ was our second team guy a year ago, played a lot of football, a lot more football than any other tight end in our program. You know, Corey Dyches has kind of been that a secret weapon type of guy because he's a tight end that has receiver skill set that creates matchup issues. But CJ, for us, in the run game, he's one of the few tight end bodies right now we have in our program that can hold up and what I call maintain that C area, the C gap area, where when you want to run power and counter, he has the size, the girth, the strength to be able to hold up against bigger DNs, which we face nowadays. I still see Corey having a major role. He continues to develop for us as a tight end, and you know we play a lot of 12 personnel grouping sets where you'll see those guys a lot on the field because of what they bring from the dimension of two tight ends. But with CJ, it's more the tenacity he plays with, but also his ability to help us in the run game, which has been what we've talked about improving upon.
In the back right, Sean.
Hey, Coach.
Sean, what's up?
Dante Demas, having him back for week one, how would you describe how he has looked in camp heading into this week and the chemistry between Talia and Dante?
You know, he's, like I said, to have a healthy Dante Demas back is short of a miracle for us in terms of just getting him back this fast. And knock on wood, we've been able to keep him healthy throughout training camp. He's picked up where he's left off. You know, the impact he has on our team goes way beyond just what he does on Saturday as a pass catcher for us, because he is kind of the heartbeat of our team. And I think he sets the tempo for our guys, especially how he's worked his butt off to get back to be available for game one. I think you'll continue to see him improve with each game as he comes back and kind of knocks off the rust. He took part in live scrimmages. He's been hit. He's been tackled. So now it's just a matter of him getting being comfortable going out there. And again, I expect him to be able to continue to do the things that Tay has done for us in the past.
Back left.
Hey, Coach. Not necessarily about the game, but just with the university coming out with this NIL platform for student athletes to try and take advantage of that. I'm curious, we're a year into this. Has all that moved the needle at all for you on recruiting? Do you have any sort of big picture thoughts about all things NIL a year into this? And does the university's partnership with Under Armour help in that regard as well?
This is the first I'm hearing about the partnership with Under Armour. Something came out recently?
Yeah.
Oh, I
With
think.
the big picture with Under Armour's involvement with the
Oh,
university.
got it. I thought you said something came out.
No.
Okay. No, I mean, the NIL's here to stay. I've said that. Yeah, it has had an effect. Two players that we beat everybody in the country on in recruiting, we lost. Do a lot of because of what the NIL situation is, and I expect us, as all universities, continue to kind of figure it out because there's still a lot of unknowns. We're working with our administration, working with our partners like Under Armour. We're trying to make sure we put together the best program that allows us to compete at a high level via recruiting, even though NIL is not used in recruiting, but the ability to show our players, because of where we're located, because of the companies that are affiliated and support our program in the DC metro area, we should be a school that benefits from it. And we're trying to do everything we can to study it, understand it, to give our student athletes the best opportunity to maximize on their name, image, and likeness, but doing it in a manner that allows us to, you know, as I told our team, you know, NIL isn't just us giving you money. I'm a big believer in you should do something to earn it. And so you know, for us, I can see us being more community service based with how we do our NIL once it does kind of get launched, which I'm hoping is here in the near future, that we give back to this community that does so much for us as a program, as a way to earn NIL opportunities.
To your right, Ben.
Coach Deontay Banks listed as the starter as kick returner, obviously due to the kick return game. You know, what kind of factors went into that
The
decision?
old kick
and
return question.
What kind of threat do you see him posing back there?
Well, Dante was a big-time running back in high school. Returned kicks in high school, a lot like Dante Demas, Stephon Diggs, DJ Moore, Javon Leak, a lot of our great players. You know, for me, I look at that as a offensive opportunity. Dante is a guy that, again, has great speed, size. You know, with kickoff return, the key to that deal is hitting it full speed because that window closes quickly. Dante has excelled at it. We've been excited about it. You'll see him back there, and I think it gives us a threat as as an offensive play. It becomes a weapon for us. So if you study the analytics of football, where your drive starts begin, typically incrementally get better opportunities for you to score the ball. So we try to put our best players back there on kickoff return. That gives us the best chance to have a great drive start.
To your left, Olivia.
Hey, Coach. How do you control the emotions this week with all of your players? I know it's week one, you know, it's a clean slate, you're at home, but how do you control the emotions with your guys?
You know, that's for us. We talk about it all the time that it's great to have emotions, but not be emotional. And to me, sometimes, and we've been a team that has been penalized quite a bit from some of them emotional type penalties. And those are the ones that sit in your craw a little bit as a coach. And so for us, I want them to play with emotion. I don't want them to be emotional. And to me, how we practice, the things we do in practice are what we expect to see in the game. And so, we have referees at every practice. We make sure that when things happen in practice or in games that aren't becoming, or if it's too emotional, then we handle it within the family. But I expect our team, because of the maturity we have now and in terms of some of the veteran leadership, that they know what it takes and how to prepare to go play a game, especially an opener, that a lot of things can happen in an opener that, maybe you didn't prepare for because you don't know. And we just got to be ready to adjust. And I expect a veteran team like ours to be able to do that.
Time for three more. And Heather in the middle.
Hey, Coach.
Heather.
I know you were with Brian Robinson at Alabama. Can you just, share with us what you had, heard about what happened with him and since that happened and, just, again, a player that you have a relationship with?
Yeah, obviously disappointing to see that happen to a former player in the city I grew up in. Brian's a great kid right there from Tuscaloosa. Been in touch with him quite a bit since he's been up here in the area. When I heard about it Sunday, I immediately talked to one of their upper management people that I'm close with to find out that he is fine, he's going to be okay, which is a blessing. Obviously, anytime something like that happens, whether it's to a player or anybody, gun violence in most of these major metropolitan areas are just, we have to continue to hope and pray that these people out there understand that, it's not right. And so, my prayers will continue to be with Brian as he recovers, and we expect a full recovery. And I'm just happy that it's not something that we are sitting in here, a guy being killed over a car. So.
Bruce.
Yeah, Coach, I read some analysis of Jalen Duncan and NFL analysis, which is not your concern, but he has risen to the top of the left tackles considered in the country. Talk about his growth into that kind of respect.
Yesterday we had, I think, 4 players that have been recognized by the Reese Senior Bowl that are on their watch list, and I think it's a testament to the players. It's a testament to the program that you can come here, develop as a player, and have opportunities to create value for yourself at the next level. Jalen is one of those guys. From the time I got here, he has incrementally gotten better with each and every season. He's a guy that has had a draftable grade the last 2 years, but has made the decision to come back because he wants to continue to improve. There's no doubt that he is, in my opinion, one of the top tackles in the country. Elite athleticism, having seen guys like Cam Robinson and the guy up in Cleveland that I had at Alabama, name slips my mind, but Jedrick Wills, those type of players. When you see those guys and you see Jalen, there's not very much difference. So I think they have it right, but as I've said before, you've got to go out and do it every Saturday. And I think that's going to be important for Jalen to show that he can be consistent each and every Saturday, which I've seen him do, be consistent, getting better and better each week.
Last question, Dave.
Mike, you mentioned James Patterson earlier. There are three other guys on that defensive front seven who I think were first or second preseason All-MAC. What is it about the Bulls front seven that makes them special? What will concern you?
You know, they got a lot of tackles for losses, sacks. You know, they run a very similar style defense to what we run. You know, Coach Lindquist's time down at Texas A&M, they have an odd front that they use on their normal down and distance. They get in that 4-down nickel package. They've got a tremendous blitz package on 3rd down that in a perfect world for us on offense. That's why we want to be able to line up and run the football this week, to be able to keep it in 3rd and manageable so that you keep that exotic blitz package off the field. I think they're well coached. You know, obviously Coach Lindquist, being a defensive guy, is heavily involved. You know, when you study their defense, you can see his imprint all over it. I know they have a new D coordinator, but I would expect that Mo is involved heavily with it, and you can tell because they play good defense.
Thank you, Coach. We'll have a quarterback Talia Tagovailoa up here at 1 o'clock at the podium. For now, there's multiple elevators that can